This is no, these are the comments of the Finance Committee on the warrant. What we are voting on, Mr. Pasquale, is the annual report, which looks like this.
I can read it.
Okay? So if you have a question relating to this report, that would be appropriate.
Well, the way the article reads, it's any reports that are going to come up if somebody asks. This is a legal report, and I want to know if the numbers are accurate. That's all I'm asking.
Mr. Pasquale, the motion before the chair reads to accept the printed town report for the year 1999 as the report of town officers and so forth. So what is germane to that report is legitimate. What is relates to the warrant and the explanatory notes in the warrant is a different matter.
I'm not trying to nitpick, but I've been to many meetings. There's been a lot of changes since this was put together. So I want to know, is the printed numbers here what the true balance is of the town of North Reading? That's the simple question.
We will allow Mr. Jones to answer the question. He raised his hand.
In answer to the question, Mr. Moderator, if you look at that chart, it begins with FY00. And those were the monies available at the end of FY00. In October of '99, you will notice there was an amount taken from free cash. And under April '00 town meeting, those are the anticipated numbers by the Finance Committee at this town meeting. If the actions are taken in that manner, the balances that you see to the right are those that would be available at the end of this town meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. On the motion to accept the printed town report, all those in favor, please. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, you wish to speak to the motion?
No, but I believe we do have a report in conjunction with some other commission committee members.
Okay, there will be another report to be brought under this article. Is that correct? Okay. We will take the report first and then we'll take the vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, my report to you this evening is the Facilities Use Master Plan report. For over 2 years, the Facilities Use Master Plan Committee has been studying the future building needs of the community. Our mission was to develop a comprehensive plan for use of public facilities that would last at least the next 25 years. We feel this report that we are delivering this evening has accomplished this mission. The FUMP committee is comprised of the chairman and vice chairman of the Board of Selectmen, the chairman and vice chairman of the school committee, and the chairman and vice chairman of the finance committee, as well as representation from the school building committee, the police station building committee, the historic district commission, the community planning board, the superintendent of schools, and the town administrator. I would also like to point out that during these commission meetings, the ex-chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Joe Vino, as well as Mr. Rowe, attended quite many of these meetings. The focus of our study was to review the facilities needs, review various options, list priorities, calculate costs, develop timelines, determine the tax impact, and to deliver a unified report. The following is a list of the key facilities needs that are based on these findings. As I'm going along with this report, as you can see, the slides are being projected up behind me. Number 1 is a new elementary school. Number 2 is a new police station. 3 was the reuse of the Bachelor School. 4 was renovations to the middle and high schools. 5 was renovations to the DPW garage, better known as the Spindler Complex. 6 was the reuse of the present town hall. And number 7 was the renovations to the present fire station. We feel that after 2 years of deliberation and discussion, this list you see before you is what we feel are the future needs of the community. I personally would like to turn the next segment of this report over to Mr. Steve Jury, who is the chairman of the school committee, who will itemize each key need and the reasons for the needs.
Mr. Jervy.
Thank you. The most difficult part of the deliberations was the decision that the new elementary school is the best way for the town to proceed to meet the elementary school needs of North Reading. It would replace the Bachelor School. It's needed to meet both enrollment and program needs at the elementary school. It would house 29 classrooms, which would make it the largest of our elementary schools. It would house pre-K through grade 5. It would house 560 students. And it is eligible for 64% reimbursement from the state under current guidelines. The next thing we're recommending is a new police station, which would replace the existing station. It would be located behind the current town hall, the Murphy Center, over on North Street. That is land that is already owned. It would accommodate the needs of the police department for now and for the next 25 years, we hope. It would comply with current standards. Our current facility is woefully inadequate. Construction of a new elementary school would make possible the reuse of the bachelor school. And we are recommending that it cease to be used as an elementary school, but that we want to maintain it. Particularly the old part is an important historical building here in town. We envision returning Town Hall to the center of town. Most likely, our discussions have talked about it going into what is called the new wing, the 1949 wing of the building. The school administration offices, which are currently housed in the middle school, could easily be housed in the old part of the bachelor school. That would free room in the middle school, which is going to need additional renovations and space. It's a 35-year-old building. If you were to look at the capital plan of the school, you'll see that there are needs that that building has right now. Renovation of the building would meet enrollment and program needs. The relocation of the central administration would ensure that we didn't have to build an excessive number of new classrooms. It would accommodate grades 6 through 8, over 700 students. That's what we're expecting to have in those 3 grades at our peak. It would be eligible for state reimbursement. Again, at current standards, that would be 64%. We don't know if that's going to be changed. I'm sorry, my slides are, my pages are in a different order. The high school. What needs to be done at the high school is comparatively modest. We do need some work to meet enrollment and program needs and to expand and upgrade the core facilities, in particular the cafeteria. When the renovations were done 10 years ago, the cafeteria was rated for 280 some odd students. That rating has been changed to 186. It's very difficult for us to feed all of our students in the cafeteria right now. We have some tables set up right here in front of the stage at lunchtime. So that's one of the core needs that has to be met. In addition, in order to house grades 9 through 12, with the population blip coming up, we need to be able to house over 800 students in this building. We can't quite do that right now. Renovations or additions would also help meet community and civic needs. It is difficult to do some of the things in this room that want to be done. People are being turned away from activities that, because this facility isn't large enough. And finally, that would also be eligible for state reimbursement. At the Spindler Complex, the facility needs to be upgraded. It cannot house some of the larger equipment that needs to be serviced here in town. We're trying to centralize maintenance of town vehicles, and in order to do that properly, that facility needs to be upgraded. At the Murphy Center, if the town hall is moved, the Murphy Center would then be available for other purposes. Now, many purposes have been suggested to us. We recommend that the town retain the property, in part because land is getting harder and harder to come by. There are potential community uses that have been recommended: a cultural center, recreation and youth center, community meeting space. In 25 years, it may be needed for additional senior activities. An alternative is that it has a potential for lease. We could possibly derive some income from that space. No firm decision has been taken on this matter yet. There's no need to get into that until such time as the town hall can be relocated, which gives us several years actually to wrestle with that. At the fire station, without the police station in that building, the fire station doesn't necessarily need that extra office space, but it will need some renovation. The important thing is that the fire station will remain at a central location. Location is vital to the fire station. What's vital to the police station is where are the cruisers. That's what determines their response time. So there would be some need for renovation of the space when the police department was moved out. And exactly how that space was used would determine how it would be renovated. The remaining brief part of this presentation concerns the finances, and we'd like Brad Jones Sr., the chairman of the Finance Committee, to handle that portion.
Mr. Jones.
Please remember that as you view the next two charts, that this is still a work in progress, both by the committee and through public input. This particular chart shows the timelines for the projects from the initial inception to the project year of occupancy. And the first two projects are the new school and police station that would be more or less on simultaneous timelines. And until they're done and completed, you can't proceed to the next three projects, which is the batch reuse, which is not available until the new school is done, and vacating the portion of the middle school that would go to the batch to make that school available. And we're tying in the high school in the same timeline because we believe that construction-wise there'd be an economy of scale and cost. And finally, the last two, which is the DPW and fire station, which are a little more looser in time schedule in the sense they could move up or they could move back. But right now, this is the best guess for a yardstick of time. This is the good news chart. This chart shows principal cost plus interest based on a 20-year bond life and at 5.5% interest. We recently redid this. We were functioning at 5% interest, but our recent 3.6 million bond offering in the market came in just slightly below 5.4%. So we felt it fairer to reflect currently at least what is known at 5.5. You will also notice that beside principal and interest, the three school projects are reflecting state reimbursement, and we base this on the continued anticipation of state support. So when you add principal, you add interest, you deduct the state reimbursement, you come down to the total cost of approximately $5.25 million. And finally, there's a yardstick that we put on. It's too soon to do a definitive table and run it out, but in order to give some measure that people could use, you'll see at the bottom that there's a yardstick of $2.50 average per $1,000 evaluation, or $250 per 100,000 evaluation. This will enable you to take some measure against your own personal property. Over a bond schedule, as you may know, it's a little higher on the front end and it's lower on the final years, and this we use as an average in order to give you a gauge, at least overall over the 20 years.
Does that conclude your presentation? Mr. Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will also be completing the feasibility studies and cost refinements for the public hearings.